In the vast wilderness of North America, where every footprint in the snow could lead to a confrontation, wolves not only stalk, but also actively attack when the opportunity arises. Each approach is carefully calculated. Each acceleration creates pressure that gradually severs the prey's control. And it is in those fleeting moments that the attack begins to shape an unchangeable outcome. Between the tundras of Alaska and Canada, caribou migrate across vast snowfields where temperatures are consistently low and food sources are limited. Their large hooves help them maintain balance on the soft snow and dig through the thick snow to find lichen in the winter. This environment reduces the presence of predators. But when an individual slows down in its migration, the gap widens, creating an opening for exploitation. Against the backdrop of the vast white snow, a lone wolf moves slowly and steadily, observing the caribou herd in silence. It patiently tracks their movements, waiting for the right moment to approach. When the herd begins to lose its rhythm, the wolf gradually closes the distance before accelerating from behind, forcing the entire herd to disperse briefly, and this disruption quickly turns into constant pressure. A caribou separated from the herd, unable to keep up with the pace, becomes the sole target in the vast space. The wolf uses its stamina to continue closing in, maintaining a reasonable distance and controlling the situation. The advantage gradually shifts to the patient wolf and is maintained until the situation is resolved, locking down all further developments. When the herd's cohesion is broken, the survival advantage quickly diminishes and is no longer sustained. In a vast, frigid environment, even a slight delay can alter the distance between people, and from there, the situation can shift in an irreversible direction. On the vast grasslands of the Great Plains and Yellowstone, bison move in herds in open spaces, where their long-distance vision helps them detect danger early. When threatened, the entire herd turns to face the predator to maintain distance. However, as the formation stretches during movement, gaps gradually appear, creating vulnerable points of attack. On the edge of the snow-covered forest, a pack of wolves maintained a low formation, approaching from multiple directions without rushing to attack. They spread out to form a wide encirclement, patiently narrowing the bison's movement space. When the bison accelerated to escape the encircled area, the wolves immediately pursued, forcing the formation to spread out, and this disruption quickly turned into increasing pressure. A single bison falling behind, unable to maintain the pack's rhythm, became a clear target in the open space. The wolves focused on this target, coordinating to maintain distance and sustain pressure in a steady rhythm. Victory gradually shifted to the one maintaining the pursuit, and was held until the situation was locked in. When the defensive formation could no longer be maintained, the advantage of collective strength diminished significantly. In open space, even a small gap could make a difference. And from there, the situation could shift irreversibly. In the grasslands and forest edges of the Rocky Mountains and Yellowstone, elk move nimbly between areas according to their natural rhythms. The diverse terrain allows them to quickly retreat to cover when they detect danger. However, While foraging in open areas and before moving into the forest, gaps gradually appear, creating vulnerable spots for exploitation. At the edge of the forest, a wolf silently maintained its distance before suddenly lunging into the elk pack. The direct approach caused the pack to panic and change direction repeatedly. With their rhythm disrupted, the wolf maintained its speed and stayed close to the nearest individual. And this chaos quickly escalated into increasing pressure. One elk reacted slowly and was separated from the group, failing to change direction with the pack, becoming an obvious target in the open terrain. The other wolves quickly joined in, coordinating to force their way and close the gap. The advantage gradually shifted to the one maintaining the pursuit rhythm, and was maintained until the situation was locked in. When the safe direction of movement was lost, the elk's evasive advantage diminished significantly. In open terrain, even a moment of delay can make all the difference, and from there, the situation quickly shifted in an irreversible direction. Amidst the snow-covered tundras of Canada and Greenland, Arctic hares move swiftly across the open surface where temperatures can drop very low. Their thick white fur helps them blend into the environment and reduces their chances of detection. However, in the vast, unobstructed space, when foraging and distracted, their movements can still be detected from afar, making them easy targets for exploitation. On the open snow, the two wolves maintained their distance and observed in silence before acting. Without delay, they simultaneously accelerated, charging straight towards their target, forcing the rabbit to flee immediately. As the prey constantly changed direction to avoid being caught, the two wolves maintained a steady pursuit, and this change quickly escalated into increasing pressure. The rabbit gradually lost its advantage as it had to maintain high speed for an extended period, while the two wolves kept a reasonable distance. A short burst of acceleration allowed them to close the gap and regain control of the situation. The advantage shifted decisively to the side, maintaining the coordinated pace, and this was maintained until the situation became more stable. In the frigid taiga forests and mountains of North America, the wolverine moves slowly across the thick snow, where temperatures consistently drop well below freezing. Its thick fur helps it withstand the harsh weather and remain active when many other species restrict their movement. However, when near burrows and focused on protecting its young, its range of movement is narrowed, creating vulnerable points of access. In the area in front of the den, a wolf approached and observed from a distance before acting. Upon seeing an opportunity, it suddenly lunged straight at its opponent, forcing the wolverine into immediate confrontation. The confrontation was intense, as both continuously closed in and vied for position, and this resistance quickly escalated into increasing pressure. Despite being pushed towards the den entrance, the wolverine maintained its position and reacted fiercely to protect its young. Its persistence allowed it to maintain distance and force the wolf to slow its approach. The advantage gradually shifted to the steadfast defender and was maintained until the opponent was forced to retreat. When the defensive position could not be broken, the attacker's ability to approach significantly decreased. In the harsh environment, even a single point of contact could make a difference. And from there, the situation ended in a way that could not continue. In the frigid tundras of Alaska and northern Canada, Musk oxen move in herds across thick snow, in sub-zero temperatures and open spaces. Their thick fur helps them withstand the cold and still find food. However, when the formation is not yet stable during movement, gaps appear, creating vulnerable points for exploitation. From a distance, a pack of wolves moved low and stealthily, maintaining a distance to avoid early detection. The alpha wolf constantly shifted positions, probing the musk ox pack's reaction before acting. When they sensed the formation hadn't yet stabilized, the entire pack suddenly charged from multiple directions, forcing the musk ox pack to hastily regroup. And this disruption quickly escalated into escalating pressure. An individual unable to rejoin the defensive formation was separated from the pack, becoming a clear target on the vast, snowy plains. The pack coordinated their pursuit, constantly adjusting their movements to keep the prey cornered. The advantage gradually shifted to the side, maintaining the coordinated rhythm, then solidified until the situation was under control. Once the defensive formation was broken, the ability of the separated individual to defend itself significantly diminished. In open space, even a moment of delay can make all the difference, and from there, the outcome closed in an irreversible direction. By a river in Alaska, a grizzly bear is feeding on its freshly caught salmon. The wide wilderness and high ground allow it to observe its surroundings and secure its food source. However, staying too long in one spot and the scent of the food spreading far attracts attention from afar, making it an easy target. From the edge of the trees, a pack of wolves stalked and approached from multiple directions, maintaining a distance around the bear's meal. They began to jostle for portions of the food as the bear bent down to eat, forcing the bear to guard its prey while keeping a watchful eye on its surroundings. When a few individuals got too close to grab a share, the bear immediately stood up to confront them directly, and this struggle quickly escalated into increasing pressure. The bear held its position in front of the food source and reacted decisively, continuously advancing to push back any approaching groups. The difference in size and distance made it difficult to sustain close-range attempts. The advantage gradually shifted towards the individual maintaining a safe distance, and this was consolidated until the pack of wolves had to retreat. When they could no longer maintain a close enough distance to exert pressure, the wolf's chances diminished significantly. In open space, simply holding their position made a difference. And from there, the situation closed in on itself. Through confrontations across various terrains, the wolves' most prominent characteristics are their ability to coordinate, persevere, and choose the precise moment to attack. Each situation demonstrates that the outcome depends not only on strength, but also on controlling distance, pace, and strategy. These factors ultimately determine the direction of each attack in the wild. In nature, fierce confrontations don't begin with collision, but with controlling distance before an attack is launched. Every movement has a purpose, where each step of approach gradually creates an opportunity for a quick and precise strike. When pressure is applied at the right moment, even a small misstep can change the entire course of the battle. And when the decisive moment arrives, the attack is brief, and the outcome is already predetermined. In the slow pace of the area, hyenas gradually appear as a well-structured and stable group. Each individual observes the position of its pack members to adjust its direction and avoid separation. Its instinct relies on numbers and synchronized reactions to exert pressure on the opponent. When a threat is detected, the entire group quickly shifts its state, and therefore the approach must be carefully calculated. The distance shortens when the lion actively adjusts its direction and moves into the pack's movement area. When the distance is close enough, it accelerates briefly and heads towards the nearest individual to break the encirclement structure. The hyenas surround but do not approach closely, maintaining distance to avoid direct confrontation. A rapid approach disrupts the coordinated rhythm and forces the group to constantly adjust its position. The situation reverses when an individual hyena loses its ability to maintain its position and separates from the group's rhythm. The lion didn't need to maintain a prolonged attack. It simply applied enough pressure to create psychological space. The hyena pack slowed down and retreated to restore a safe distance. In this situation, the advantage shifted to the lion, having broken the initial stability. The result clearly reflects how a single individual can disrupt the entire structure of a group. When herd mentality is disrupted, numerical advantage is no longer effective. The lion didn't need to pursue multiple objectives, but focused on controlling space. The outcome was shaped by its ability to apply pressure at the right time and disrupt the opponent's coordination. When the herd moves in a steady rhythm, the lion begins to observe each individual for signs of deviation. Its instinct relies on reading movement, assessing distance, and selecting a suitable target in a short amount of time. It maintains a hidden position and does not rush to approach while the herd maintains a tight formation. When a vulnerability appears, the direction of attack begins to be determined. The distance begins to narrow as the lion shifts from observation to active approach. When the target is forced apart, a mother buffalo charges repeatedly, forcing the lion to constantly adjust its position. Soon after, Many individuals in the herd join in, creating counter-pressure and breaking the lion's formation. The attack rhythm is interrupted when the lion loses its initial advantage. The tide turns when the lion can no longer maintain pressure on its initial target. The mother buffalo continued to react relentlessly and did not leave her position, while the herd maintained its protective structure. The original target was no longer isolated, and the distance was restored. In this situation, the lion abandoned its resources to preserve its safety. The entire situation demonstrates that a coordinated response can reverse an initial advantage. The lion may have chosen the right target, but it could not maintain pressure when the herd reacted in unison. The decisive moment came when the buffalo herd entered the fray and reversed the situation. The outcome did not come from the initial attack, but from the collective response. In areas with low grass cover, rhinos maintain a state of alertness through their highly sensitive hearing and sense of smell. They can detect movement and scent within close range, despite limited vision. Their bodies, which can exceed 5,000 pounds, help them maintain a stable position and create significant pressure when moving. At the first sign of danger, they are ready to turn and charge. So any approach must be discreet. Approaching loses its advantage as the rhino quickly determines the direction of movement. When the distance is close enough, the rhino detects the rhino and immediately charges, forcing the lions to scatter to avoid a direct confrontation. A lion may try to remain near the food source, but when the rhino gets close, it is forced to leave. The rhino continues to maintain pressure and control the entire area. The advantage quickly shifted to the rhinoceros as the lion lost its initial position. No sustained direct attacks were possible due to the overwhelming power disparity. In this situation, the rhinoceros maintained control of the space, while the lion accepted the loss of resources. The final decision didn't come from fighting, but from choosing to retreat at the right moment. In open grassland environments, buffalo maintain spatial awareness by constantly monitoring surrounding movements. It reacts quickly to changes and adjusts its position to avoid risk. Its survival instinct relies on maintaining distance and adapting to the situation. However, when faced with a greater threat, its reaction time may be insufficient. Elephants proactively approach from close range and do not conceal their direction of movement. When the distance is short enough, they accelerate and charge directly at their target with overwhelming mass. Buffaloes do not have enough time to dodge and are directly impacted. The force of the impact causes them to completely lose their balance and be pushed from their original position. The advantage is established immediately after the collision, as the buffalo can no longer maintain its stability. Elephants stop after applying pressure and do not continue the pursuit. In this situation, it wasn't predatory behavior, but rather instantaneous physical dominance. The decision stemmed from the size difference and a reaction too quick for the opponent to adapt. In shallow water, crocodiles remain motionless and monitor their surroundings with low energy expenditure. Their survival instincts rely on ambush, quick reactions over short distances, and leveraging the surface of the water. Their heavy bodies and powerful jaws allow them to exert significant pressure in direct contact. However, once out of the water, their spatial control diminishes. Pressure builds as the lions adjust their positions and surround them from multiple directions. When the crocodile opens its jaws, danger is confirmed, and the lions avoid direct contact. The entire pride increases pressure by closing in and feigning attacks from various angles. This constant movement forces the crocodile to twist and turn to maintain its position, gradually destabilizing it on land.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh, no, it's already...
The situation changes when the crocodile realizes the disadvantage and begins to retreat towards the water. The lion doesn't need to deliver a decisive blow. Instead, it maintains pressure to force its opponent to move. As the distance to the water shortens, the crocodile prioritizes escape over continued confrontation. The outcome favors the lion, which controls its position and direction of movement. The difference lies not in strength, but in where the confrontation takes place. Land reduces the crocodile's effectiveness and limits its ability to attack. Conversely, water becomes a strategic safe zone that the crocodile is forced to retreat to. The entire course of events is determined by position from the very first seconds.
Attempted hunt, Bruce. Got it.
At the land-water junction, hippos maintain a stable presence and control the surrounding area. Their bodies, which can exceed 3,000 pounds, help them maintain a firm position at close range. Their instincts rely on quick reflexes, strong jaws, and area control. When distance narrows, they are ready to charge to create initial pressure, making every approach carefully calculated. Lions move low from the blind spot and maintain formation as they approach. When close enough, the hippo charges to shock, but the lion doesn't disperse completely, adjusting its position to maintain the pressure circle. The hippo continuously rotates, its mouth wide open in defense, while the lion avoids danger zones and maintains a rhythmic approach from multiple directions. The situation shifts dramatically when the hippo can no longer maintain its initial area control. Lions don't need to engage directly. Instead, they maintain pressure, wearing down their opponent's energy. In this situation, defeat comes from losing composure and being forced into a defensive position, with the water source becoming the ultimate target. During a prolonged migration, wildebeest maintain a steady rhythm and order within the herd. Each individual follows the general direction, adjusting their distance and reacting to surrounding signals. This survival strategy, based on synchronization, reduces risk over long distances. When the herd rhythm becomes disrupted, the role of each individual becomes crucial. Lions follow the direction of movement and patiently wait for the opportune moment to approach. When the distance is close enough, the two coordinate, one maintaining position while the other increases pressure to quickly destabilize the target. The wildebeest shifts from movement to confrontation, lowering its head and charging straight to break the control. A hook from its horns to its leg disrupts the coordinated rhythm and forces the lion to change its stance. The situation shifts when the wildebeest creates space and escapes the dangerous range. The two lions lost their coordination and were unable to maintain the initial pressure. A well-timed counterattack allowed the prey to escape the predicament. The result was a decisive hook that shattered the entire previous attack structure. When the environment is stable, elephants maintain a highly accurate long-term memory-based perception. They remember routes, water sources, and even previous encounters in the same area. Their instincts rely on assessing their opponent and adjusting their response based on accumulated experience. When signs of tension appear, the distance is controlled and narrowed. Two individuals charge head-on and collide at close range. The younger individual attacks first, using speed and continuous pressure to gain an initial advantage. The older individual maintains its position, absorbs the force, and uses its weight to push back, causing the opponent to lose balance. The collisions are short but rapid, with each side constantly adjusting to the other's reaction. The situation becomes clear when the younger individual can no longer maintain its initial attack rhythm. The older individual doesn't pursue, but instead maintains control of the space. In this situation, the individual who maintains better strength and control holds the advantage. Experience determines the outcome, not the initial attack. When confrontations end, the outcome doesn't come from the final moment, but from the entire process of control and adaptation. Each species holds an advantage in its own way, but only the right decisions at the right time make a clear difference. In nature, survival doesn't belong to the strongest, but to the one who controls the situation better.
Attempted hunt, Bruce.